What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. New Pokémon Snap is about a month old now, and I know I'm still loving it. I'm sure many other fans are too. The general gameplay is a joy to go over again and again, and the visuals are absolutely stunning. This might even be my favorite Pokémon game on the Switch, but don't quote me on that just yet. One thing that is truly fascinating about the game is the locations. Each one of these unique tracks is elaborately constructed to show off just the kind of wholesome Pokémon interactions we've always dreamed of. And of course, we must consider the locations as a collective in the Lentil region. The map actually looks like it would hold at least a few more places. Personally, I would add a dilapidated cityscape with more urban Pokémon around, like Magnemite, Grimer, Porygon, and others that you wouldn't really be able to find anywhere else. But be sure to let me know what kinds of areas you would add as well. But usually when we have a new Pokémon region, it's far more familiar, with your standard gyms and the like, so what if that happened here? What if good old Professor Mirror decided he wanted to create a Lentil League just like Kukui did in Alola? I imagine he's more focused on the Illumina Pokémon than the League making, but maybe that's why he wants to bring people into the region, to experience the phenomenon. And we've not really even seen what kind of effects that would have on a Pokémon when it's battling, so maybe that can be this league's mandatory gimmick. But if Mirror did decide to increase tourism, and we saw a whole league in the Lentil region, what would it look like? Well, we've already got several interesting locations that could house arenas for potential challengers to traverse. Now, we're not going to do like a whole missing gym leaders thing, because honestly, there's not really many people here at all. So I won't assign individuals or gym puzzles, since they would honestly just probably be more like trials, or something like Ash's Battle Frontier in this luscious land. But we will be looking at what Pokémon could be useful for such gym arenas that we can find all throughout the Lentil region. They don't have to specifically live in that biome, but they do have to be found in the region somewhere, so no Dracovish or anything like that. And even though I thought it's reasonable to assume any form would work, I will only use options that we've definitively seen in the Lentil region. So Squirtle and Blastoise are fine, but no Wartortle. Those are just my rules I'm going with, but let me know how you would do it on your own. So obviously with all of that, Professor Mirror would start you out of his lab, and for starters, I would actually recommend ones that we don't see in the wild, just to stick with how unique starters usually are in the other games. So just for me, I would offer up Trico, Fennekin, and Totodile. Now of course the park would be the first area, and here I would put a grass gym, and we have been blessed with a bountiful harvest of early possibilities. But I think I would recommend Bulbasaur and Morlul to provide differing type coverage, and I want to say Grookey, but having two starters is probably a bit showy, so we'll just say Bounsweet. Can't you just imagine facing a Florio gym like this out in the open, with all the Bouffalante out in the distance? The next location to discover in Snap is the jungle, and so here will be our second gym, and with it I would place the bug type. I wasn't sure, but there are actually quite a few of them in this humid tropical zone. For this one, probably around the waterfall somewhere, I would say an Ariados would be a good fit in this climate, and I would also give a Snom and a Vivian, but with a different pattern. I think one of the best things in these gyms would be giving teases about the areas that might be to come by showing clues early on. Next, I would say your journey should take you to Elsewhere Forest. Now, ideally you could choose a couple of different paths, but since we're already on Belusilva Island, we might as well. This kind of creepy forest can change seasons when you go through, which makes me think that this whole place is mysterious enough for the fairy type. That, and the available fairy Pokémon, means that we can't wait too long to use it. So obviously there's the moon-obsessed Clefairy, the carefree Comfey, the ferocious Mawile, and I'll throw in the adorable Cutiefly. Watching the seasons change with fairy magic as you battle would certainly be a unique experience for a Lentil gym. Then there is the smaller archipelago in the southeast corner, where we have the beach, the reef, and even underwater courses, so I don't think it'll surprise anyone to place the water type across these. There are no shortage of water Pokémon throughout the region, and these locations in particular. But we will have to whittle it down, so I would say Wailord would be a first good candidate, because it seems to be a signature Pokémon of the Maracopia Islands. Its HP alone would make it tough, but let's throw in a Swanna, a Swampert, and a Golisopod. Is that too tough for a fourth gym? Maybe, but they've all got some glaring weaknesses that you can take advantage of. Then we move up to Veluca, and the desert is a clear choice for a ground-type arena. And an excellent first Pokemon would be the Desert Spirit Flygon, an amazing Pokemon in its own right, and a proud representative of this location. I think a Hippowdon would be good to create a Sandstorm team, and then back that up with Torterra and Golurk, who we have seen elsewhere in the region. There are some others that we could include, but these are scary Pokemon, and I don't want to make the 5th gym harder than the last one. This island also houses a volcano environment, which is perfect for the Ice type. I'm just kidding, obviously it's fire, and we've got some good reps for it, like Typhlosion being found here. I would also include Torkoal, given its incredible defenses. Talonflame also provides us with some type diversity, and we also see a Ninetales in another location, which I suspected was shiny in the snow area, but maybe I'm wrong. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that this being in a volcano and already surrounded by rocks, there would be no effect from Stealth Rocks in this gym, so you'll have to find another strategy. Then we have Duras, which houses an ice arena. It seems even in the side materials they relegate ice till late in the game. But this Winter Wonderland has a plethora of possibilities, such as the underrated Avalugg, who we finally get to see as a floating table. There's also Beartic and the Ice Steel Sandslash, and some more of my favorites with Lapras and Mamoswine, which I think could make an icy challenge to finally be taken seriously. Plus, can't you just see a battle at night with the northern lights up in the sky? But there is one more spot in this section with the cave, and there are many different types of Pokemon that can be found here, but I feel like we have to include a Rock-type specialist. The sheer possibilities are too tantalizing to ignore. Firstly, we've got to include the towering Tyranitar, along with Lycanroc, its sometimes enemy. And of course, one of the things that I love about the Lental region is that it seems to have a climate suitable for fossil Pokemon to still be alive. So I will include Aerodactyl, as well as the powerful and scary Tyrantrum. And of course, the elegant, beautiful Aurorus. Even with all of their weaknesses, they would still be hard to take down, so don't underestimate them. So, those are the probable gyms in the region, but what about an actual league itself? Well, assuming that they have an Elite Four and that the Galar tournament system isn't the new norm, they would obviously be placed in the ruins on Aurus Island, which is a really cool track that I had no clue would even be in the game. But it even has its own different sections already, so it wouldn't be that surprising. As for what types these specialists would be, I believe the first option would go to Flying. This type is on the lower end of leaders over the years, but Lentil has a strong showing with the likes of the primary Flying type Noivern being found here, as well as Skarmory and Pelipper for supports, and then Crobat and Archeops for some more direct action. An Elite Four here could also easily have the Dark type, since scattered across the region we find options such as the speedy Weavile and the bulky Mandibuzz. There's also the ferocious Sharpedo, the treacherous Houndoom, and the cunning Shiftry. There are plenty more, but those ones just form such a great type diversity. I really wouldn't want to pick this Elite Four member first. Psychic is another type that I feel could make the cut here, by including the difficult-to-find Gardevoir, as well as the enigmatic Espeon. The dependable Starmie is another good choice that we can see, as well as the jovial Raichu that we find surfing all over the beach. And then I would include Sigilif, whose strategy I can never use effectively, but I'm sure a master of the psychic arts wouldn't have any problem with it. But lastly, I think it's fitting to have a Ghost-type specialist, because there are honestly many more than I was expecting here in this region. Trevenant is obviously featured quite heavily here, and Frostlass facilitates the expansion of the snow area. Then there are those mischievous Gengar that hang around the caves, and the gentle but powerful Drifblim that float around the region too. And of course, we can't forget the mysterious Chandelure to cap off the team. I don't usually think about Ghost much, but the Lental region would be sure to remind me. And then all that's left is the champion, and here I will say it's probably the case that Todd would be the champion. After all, he is a close friend of Mirror's, and we've seen professors call in favors for the leagues before, and it is probably likely that he would form a strong team from throughout the region, but what if he's the champion because he has access to all of the Illumina Pokémon? These are massive glowing versions of certain otherwise common species of Pokémon, but these ones are indeed special, implied to have been alive for 100 years or more, or at least able to pass on these traits. That does seem to mean that a 6th Pokémon on the team would probably be a certain legendary, that might be too overpowered for the taste of some, but maybe instead of finishing the fight, you get interrupted by some evil team and then you and Xerneas work together to defeat them, and then you earn its respect and that of all of the other Illumina Pokémon, and they become loyal to you, thus signifying you as the new champion. That might be a little muddled for a clear process of succession later on, but it might be better than trying to fight all of these giant luminescent Pokémon on your own. I'm sure there would be far more to a developing Lentil region, but that's just how I see their league forming. What would you think about a Lentil League? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!